Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is your humble, cordial host, Madman, and this is episode 4 of Midnight Mass. So last recording, we got a bit heated. We said some things maybe we shouldn't have said. We had some bad thoughts, and we let them come out as speech. And you know what? That made it better. Made it better to say what was unsaid. It was very cathartic. It was very beneficial. It was good for everybody. Even the people who shouldn't be hearing it. In fact, maybe it was especially good for those people. Anyway, we're opening with a mammogram. Our pregnant ex-GF of our main character is getting the nice jelly sonogram thing. And this doctor chick's like, you might have a death claw from Fallout 4 in there, but we're gonna go ahead and do a second opinion check on this. So again, there's a very obvious subtext here with abortion in the States. And conspiracy theories clearly spread by Russian trolls, Chinese shills, idiots, insane people, schizos, etc. All these people are totally legitimate and insane, and you shouldn't listen to what I'm about to tell you that they are saying. But they're saying that abortions are used in not so kosher ways, guys, or maybe a little too kosher, I don't know. Basically, they're saying that aborted fetuses are harvested and used by people for creepy shit. And that's what this scene is directly referring to. It is directly talking about these insane, schizo, untrue, foreign influence, foreign psyop, fake, white supremacist, white nationalist theories. None of which I believe or endorse in any way. That's what this scene is talking about, and it's doing it very artfully. This chick was pregnant, she was several months along, and the fetus has magically disappeared, and it didn't come out as a bloody queef in her toilet. There was none of that. It just vanished. Very creepy, very supernatural. In reality, it's removed with medical instruments. And women are very oppressed by that, guys. Women should definitely, they should definitely be allowed to do that. That's not an oppressive thing. Abortion is not oppressive. It's not crypto-eugenics. It's not taking loose women, floozy women who want to have casual sex and quietly, creepily, coldly eliminating them from the breeding pool, the gene pool, by allowing them to have abortions. That's definitely not what it's doing under the guise of female emancipation, feminism, and freedom. That's definitely not what it's doing. It's definitely actually a good thing, and the series is clearly just Russian propaganda. I really shouldn't be talking about it. It's clearly the Russians. It's Putin, it's Russia, it's the KGB, it's the, you know what, the USSR never fell. You know what, the USSR is alive and well today, and they made this show. In fact, I think they made it just to give women a worse life in the West. It's not like female depression's at an all-time high, especially in younger women. It's not like abortion is a crypto-eugenic, creepy way of quote-unquote allowing or giving freedom to women who want to kill their children. That's definitely not what it is, guys. I don't believe that. I mean, I might as well just be the schizo hobo guy, you know? Look how big his beard is. Doesn't he look like a comical clown? Doesn't he look like a stinky, unwashed, comical clown that was put there as a plant to make you not want to be like him? Don't you not want to be like him? I wouldn't want to be like him. He's like an exemplar of everything that I don't want to be, and he makes me angry just to look at him. So I wouldn't want to have any opinions that he might have, because they might be wrong think, bad think, unthink opinions, specifically about abortion and women and all this type of crazy political shit that I don't know anything about, because I'm just a little pupper. I'm just a dumb little puppy. I don't know anything. I can't do anything. I have no abilities and no mental capacity. So, again, don't pay any attention to anything I'm saying. Anyway, sorry guys for going off on that tangent, that rant. You can just disregard that. I'll probably edit it out of the video. But I might forget, I don't know, my memory, it's been kind of foggy lately. But anyway, our nice number one thrall. This chick should have like the pieces of flair from from Office Space. If our black-haired priest guy represents the company or the restaurant, this chick should have all the 30 pieces of flair, the 33 pieces of whatever. Because she's really sucking up to this guy hard. She's feeding him soup. He's like, I can still eat normal food, but I still go into horrible withdrawal if I don't have my special communion liquid. I feel like I said adrenochrome too much in the last video. They're gonna send snipers to my house or something. Go for it. Kill me. Kill me now with all this already uploaded. That'd be great. But anyway, they're not gonna do that. That's bullshit. But I do like to joke about it because I do find it funny. And this guy's like, I want you to downplay my condition and hide the fact that I'm addicted to this shit that you don't even know about. And now he's like, can I bring you into the evil fold? Can I red pill you? And the pill is very red, about what I'm doing and what it means. Can I show you what I am? And this scene is great because these are two evil fucks, but in this scene they're very human, they're very vulnerable. So you start to, it starts to sort of tickle, the show is playing foreplay with your sympathy part of your brain. These people are coping with shit they don't understand. They have no fucking idea what they're into, either of them. And this guy's just using the language manipulation he has at his disposal. He's just riding the waves of language. And he goes, well, it seems wonderful, but now I have to convince you that vampires are holy. How the fuck am I going to do that? Bro, read the book you're supposed to be an expert on. The whole book is designed for that, according to this Lovecraftian reinterpretation, But that's the point, is there's this subtext that the show has established, this reinterpretation. And it's creepy because this woman is so fucking evil, it's almost like she already knows. It's like she already figured it out. And she's sort of pretending that she already knows. And in reality, she's just part of the grift. She's just like, I just want to stay in power. Her motivation is, unfortunately, I just want to have a lot of power. You can call that a lefty, political, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's all about power. It kind of is. I hate to give them that, but they're kind of right about that, Power is important. I'll say that. They're right about that. Power is important. It has to be exercised properly. When bad people are in power, things get bad for everyone. Is that not true? I think that's true. I think I can give them that. So again, she's sort of feeding this guy's grift. She's like, I can be your little... You know what she is? God damn it, I know what she is. She's the magician's assistant who gets sawed in half. She's the woman in the box. That's what this chick is. This guy's the magician. She is his number one assistant. She's the poster girl for the magician's act. Beautifully done, metaphorically. Symbolically, rather. Not metaphorically, symbolically. Very well done. Yeah, the minute sunlight starts to burn my skin, I'm going straight to a beach. Meanwhile, we have a very masculine Chad Nordic Tvu fishing scene. These guys, they could be doing this in the year 500. It would be the same scene, just with a lot more wood on the boat, rather than metal. He's like, how badly were you raped, son? Did they make you gay? He's like, Dad, what the fuck? Why would you ask me that? Sorry, guys, I can't help but make like South Park tier jokes during scenes like this. It's just too good an opportunity. I'm too much of a clown. Harbored, that's like a nautical term. Is that a pun? And he's projecting. He's like, you didn't want to be a fisherman, so I automatically assume you think my profession is shameful. Again, shame, shame, shame. West, west, west. For fuck's sake, can we get over it? You don't have to discard it entirely. Just sprinkle a tiny bit of Eastern wisdom into it. You don't have to discard the... You know what I was about to say. I didn't want to say baby with the bathwater. There's been too much infant shit talk in this review, this series of reviews. And this guy's being good. He's like, hey, I'm trying to like actually improve our relationship. Good man. It's a hell of a hard thing to do when you're fucking 60. God damn, man. Massive respect. And he's confusing resentment with spite, but you know, he's getting close. He almost understands his own emotions. He's getting there. The cost of you living us here with a grown man because the economy is in such a state of flaming shit that there's no way you're going to be able to get a job as anything other than a toilet cleaner, and you're going to make 1/5 of what we made in 1971, and we're somehow the victims of that. Good try with that argument. Fuck off. That is boomer cope, and it's blatantly obvious. Your parents have probably made dramatic speeches to you like this, and they always want to be the victim. The irony is, Gen X, Millennials, Gen Z, we all get called victims. Guess where we learned it? From our parents, who, when we challenged them for fucking the economy, blamed us. So we said, oh, we're to blame? Well, blame's a heavy burden. Guess we're victims of blame then. Guess you should go fuck yourself and give me a trust fund. Or else you're going in the Dominican wheel punch, cheapest, like, old folks home I can fucking find. You can go fuck yourself. Because my whole life is fucked. My retirement's fucked. You got to have a life. What did I get? It's not victimhood. It's righteous indignation. Look up the term if you're too stupid. Righteous indignation. That's what it is, and it is righteous. There's very few cases where I would claim to be a judge of what's righteous. That's one of them. Sorry guys, this series is working me up. It's almost like it's good art, and it's summoning up a lot of deep, primal human things in me. It's almost like that's the whole point of art, is it's supposed to be a cathartic experience where you watch something and it helps you to process things. It's almost like most art doesn't do that these days, so most people are soulless drones who don't even understand how their own emotions function, because no piece of media that they've seen has had any impact on them emotionally. So they haven't actually been confronted with their own emotions. They haven't actually confronted their Jungian shadow self, or whatever you want to call it. They haven't had a chance to do that because the media that claims to allow them to do it is a mental gruel that is poured into their ears, and it does nothing. So again, this is pointless crap. That's why I'm talking over it. It's the epic melodramatic scene, except this part. Let's rubber band back for this. The blood is boiling in the sun. Might want to analyze that shit. Oh, then it turns back to water. Interesting. Christ turned water into blood, like he turned the fundamental liquid nourishment of all life into blood. He said, drink blood instead. And then, funnily enough, when you expose blood that's corrupted to sunlight, it turns back into water, like it's reversing the magician's trick. Isn't that interesting? Again, the symbolism in this, the balls. I'm surprised the creator of this series isn't dead. I'm surprised he hasn't been killed. Probably because it's an op and none of this is true, but even so, I mean, even if it's an op, this is such a heavy fucking op. I mean, this isn't Rosemary's Baby, you know, back in the 70s. Oh my god, the drama, the response to that movie. It's horrifying. Exorcist, same thing. Oh my god, it's so this little girl is saying all these crazy things. That's nothing compared to that scene of the blood turning into water. It literally becomes clear. It's a reversal of the water to blood. That's crazy to put that in a mainstream show. Most people won't even notice it or care, but I noticed it. And now anybody who watches or listens to this commentary is going to notice it. So somebody noticed. And my credo is, I don't like elitism. I like if something's targeted towards a very specific, creepy, tiny, isolated, secretive group, I'd like everybody to know about it, because I don't think that group should be tiny, creepy, or isolated. If it's got something good to say, if it's got some beneficial model of how society should function or how we should work as humans together to make a better future, why haven't you been public about it? Are you afraid? Are you pussies? Are you scared of criticism? If so, your view doesn't deserve to be circulated. Now we have another melodramatic scene. God, I know why this guy broke up with this chick. He's like, I don't want to hear another melodramatic childhood story. Holy fuck, we're not married yet. This is like the type of shit that people who've been married for 18 years would talk about. You know? I'm not saying you can't have meaningful moments of sharing memories with your GF, but this scene is like, it's treating these characters like they've been together for 20 years. The tone is a little bit off, and it's done for, again, it's contrived, it's done for drama purposes, it's done for the purposes of the narrative. I get that. That's why I don't like it, because it takes me out of the characters' progression through the story and through their experience of that story, which is the point of any media. You have to be able to identify with one or more characters in a story and care about how they respond to the story's events. The author, or the filmmaker, whoever, or the archon of reality, is the dungeon master who is giving your characters challenges that are supposed to be rewarding. They are supposed to be measured enough in their weight and intensity and frequency that the characters are able to progress through a series of challenges like Hercules or whoever else in whatever other mythology. And they're supposed to achieve a greater understanding of their own abilities, and then by the end of the D&D campaign, they fight whoever. Malgoth, the Dark Wizard, blah, blah, blah. They fight whoever, which is just a representation of their shadow self. And then they come to a certain enigma. They come to a certain understanding or transcendence of their own flaws. And scenes like this are good because parts of them are good. Like when he describes his dream, this is good because it's something we've already seen. We've seen him dreaming about being on a boat alone in the ocean. That's an archetypal male dream. It's an archetypal male feeling. There are times in your life, I'm in one right now, where you have to be very committed to your own self-development to the point where you have to self-isolate a little bit. You can't cut off everybody, but you can't be going to parties every other night. You have to devote time to your own skills or your own self-knowledge or whatever. That is a... I don't want to sound, male-centric or whatever the fuck, but that is, I think, a more common thing for guys to dream about and worry about. women are more communal, and that's not a weakness. It's not a weakness that men are more solitary. It's not a strength either. It's just different, you know? There's vanilla ice cream and there's chocolate. They're different, but they're also both really good. That's a shitty metaphor. What I'm trying to say is, just because something's different doesn't mean you can assign it a fucking 1 to 10 up, down, good, bad, black and white, Masonic checkerboard, good, evil type of scale. It's just different. It's a different thing. Difference does not automatically, autistically equate to 1 or 0, like you're a fucking computer. You can have 1 and Klasnost, which is another version of 1. Like, I'm doing a terrible job of commenting on this scene. The point is that she shares with him a memory from her childhood, which she kind of over-explains, but it helps him to talk about what he said. And my point with talking about his vision rather than hers was just that we've seen his mind. We haven't known her character. He came to the island and we haven't seen her dreams. We haven't seen her thoughts. All we know is what he's been recurringly dreaming about, right? So I'm basing my assessment of that scene off of what the viewer is going to know, which is going to be what he's seen, which is we've seen him dream about being in the boat, right? He's our main character. And maybe later in the series we get to see his XGF dream. Maybe not. You'll have to watch my commentary and like and subscribe to figure out whether we do or not. And he's trying to pray the gay away. He's trying to pray away the adrenochrome addiction. Sorry, bro, you're a little late for that. Prayer is not going to help you. You were supposed to... Here's the good arc. Here's the good timeline for this guy. When he was an old man, he should have admitted that he was unfit to be a preacher and said, "My mind is going. I have dementia. I'm still aware enough to know that I have this. I am going to make arrangements for my will and make a successor who can preach for me. Then I'm going to go into a hospice and drool my way to death because I adopted this martyr-like life and God has rewarded me, quote unquote, with dementia." What a great reward. Whatever the case is with that shit. The good arc would have been him accepting his mortality. The whole point of this series is that this one character, this one guy, couldn't accept his mortality. And because he couldn't accept it, he's like, well, there must be something I can pray to. Something I can pray to be immortal. And now we have another temptation scene. And I want to make a brief comment, a brief tangent. This character who plays the old drunk guy, I'm pretty sure he's the guy from True Detective who was fishing for crabs. He was fishing for lobsters or crawdads or some kind of ocean insect. And then, Rust comes to interview him. And he goes, the hillbilly family is blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure it's the same actor. I might be wrong. It might be the makeup and the beard. But it looks like the same guy. And our Muslim sheriff is like, hey, Muslims don't drink. Clever little detail. He's like, maybe read the Quran if you're beset by the alcohol demon. By the way, Muslims invented distillation. Ooh, bit of an irony there that they invented the very thing that they ended up banning. It's almost like the Muslim Empire, which had a heyday of about 500 years, where women could teach at universities, own property, and initiate divorce, eventually decayed and degenerated because they aligned themselves with a very primitive desert tribe that covered their women and advocated practices like stoning. But when Muhammad's generals were fighting over the remnants of his empire, just like Rome's generals fought after Caesar died, the Muslim empire collapsed, and they reverted to a kind of extremist cult MAGA type thing that was very hyper conservative because their society had already died. And that initiated the whole alcohol ban. But before that, they were getting drunk and coming up with theories of astronomy. I mean, they invented distillation. Look it up. Maybe that's all fake. I mean, if you believe all of history is fake, none of what I said means anything to you. But none of what I'm saying means anything anyway. So, why not say it? Let's rubber band back to the movie here, because we've finally gotten to a relevant scene. This guy seems very excited to see this old woman. She is a G-MILF.
John, I want to sit on your face, John, like we used to do back in the day. Look at my lamp. This is a vintage lamp. I got it at an antique store. It's one of my favorite lamps. I have a whole collection in the basement, but I don't have room to plug them in up here.
It was and it is a dream. Yeah, you've roped a lot of other people into your creepy dream, my friend. A lot of people that didn't know what they were getting into. There was no consent forms for applying for this dream. Not a very good system for dream participants. There's an interesting through line that this series establishes that I'll just mention here. The blood being analyzed becomes a more important thing later, and this series directly calls back to The Thing by John Carpenter, where they shock the blood with electricity to figure out who has the alien shapeshifter blood in them. There's a similar scene that happens later in this series, but there's suggestions of The Thing earlier on, because you have this virus spreading and you don't know who has managed to resist it or not be exposed to it versus who has. And in the 50s, when the first adaptation of The Thing came out, The Thing from Another World, very old movie, I don't recommend it. It's kind of cool if you really like the lore of The Thing, but it's very corny. At that point in the 50s, it was, communism is a mind virus, which it is. So is capitalism. So is Hinduism. So is Buddhism. So is Islam. So is Christianity. So is Protestantism. So is Satanism. They're all mind viruses. They're just different flavors. Pick your poison. My point is just that was the conception of the whole blood thing in that context of that sort of lore of The Thing. And in the 80s, it reached an apex when you literally have them testing blood. And there's a scene in this where that happens. And again, it's a sort of testing whether someone's in your tribe. It's a very ancient, tribal, Jungian, symbolic way of evoking primal fear in your viewers. If you introduce a plot where people don't know who to trust, it's like, I don't know if you're from my tribe or the Gook Gook tribe from the other cave over, or the Ak Ok tribe from the trees. Like, it's that basic. So now we have a monologue that I kind of love, but I also hate, and it's the whole DMT Joe Rogan thing. And he's not technically wrong. Technically, he's correct. And I would say this is cringe were it not for what happens later in the series, because this guy's whole poncy, pretentious, scientific, academic rant gets utterly eviscerated by real events, because he doesn't know as much as he thinks he knows. I got butt raped in prison and read a lot of books. I know as much as God. That's basically what he's saying here. And he's not trying to be arrogant, but he's still being arrogant. He's being a little bit egotistical. He thinks he's figured it all out, and he's depressed. He's so certain that he knows everything that he's depressed. That's ego. If you're depressed by something that you think you don't know shit. That's your ego fucking with you. If you are that convinced that you have some perfect, amazing occult knowledge and you know better than everybody else, that's not the knowledge, it's your ego. And this guy is up his own ass in this monologue, and it's cringe. But the cringe has a purpose, and the cringe pays off. And that's why I love this monologue. Because in the moment, if you're a room temperature IQ idiot and you're watching this, you go, maybe he's right about DMT. And then later in the series, your mind gets blown. If you're a pseudo-intellectual Redditor and you watch this, you go, oh, of course he's right about DMT. I watch Joe Rogan. I don't agree with his views on everything, but I do think DMT's important. And this guy's got it all right. He's totally correct. God doesn't exist. That's the Redditor interpretation. And then if you just straight up disagree with it and you say, this guy's an idiot, God is real, he's up his own ass. Either way, there's all those are three ways of interpreting this monologue. Doesn't matter which one you ascribed to when you first saw this, if you've watched this before watching my epic commentary. What happens later in the series will blow your mind either way. And that's what makes this great art, is it's not trying to enthrall a specific group and make a cult of its viewers. It's trying to speak to everyone, or as many people as it can. It's trying to speak to people who have potentially opposite viewpoints. And True Detective does this, and a lot of other good series do this. Deadwood is really the only other one. The Sopranos, not so much. That's more specific to East Coast Italians. But things like 2001, things like The Sopranos, things like 2001, the first season of True Detective, and parts of this series, they're trying to do that. They're trying to actually bring groups together according to their human similarities, which are psychological, biological, and cultural all at once. It's all three. You can't bring people together according to only one of those. You have to hit all three. You have to hit a what do they call it? A fucking, I want to say hi-hat. A hat trick. You have to hit a hat trick, kind of like the nice tricorn hat. You have to appeal to people culturally, psychologically, and biologically. And if you can do all three at once, you can even bring two groups that have totally different views together, because they'll realize those views are surface level bullshit. But that's extremely difficult to do. I mean, really only some kind of divine being could do that. That would be that'd be a real miracle if that actually happened. And even still, if it happened, people would be like, it's just the mark of the beast. You can't bring people together. It's obviously a satanic plot. You can't please anybody these days. You try to bring people together for a common goal. Someone says you're a communist. Someone says you're a globalist. Someone says you're a Luciferian Satanist. Someone says you're a Mason. Someone says you're a grifter. No good deed goes unpunished. Might as well just do nothing. Then you're not hurting anyone. You're also not helping anyone. You're just doing nothing. There's just as many people who are evil who say doing nothing is wrong as there are people who are good who say doing nothing is evil. You break even either way. You go back to zero. And so this chick is describing her religious alternative. She says, you realize you've rejoined the people you love, and love is the unifying concept behind heaven, and you've been forgiven of your sins. You're not tied to your dirty, shitty body. And there's a home there. There's a house waiting for whoever goes there. In my Father's house there are many mansions. I memorized all the verses, guys. I I was part of all sorts of Bible type of shit. A lot of it is actually really good. It's affirming. It makes you hopeful, you know? But a lot of it's vampire blood drinking shit too. It's a mixed bag, as they say. You open up your Halloween bag after you've been trick-or-treating, you've gone to 30 houses. Some of the shit you have is going to be apples, and you're going to go, ooh. And then other stuff's going to be Tootsie Rolls, and you're going to go, ooh. And then some of the stuff's going to be Skittles, and you're going to go, oh yeah. That's the real shit, the Skittles. Hell yeah. Heaven yeah. And her monologue here is good. Her earlier one where she's talking about some dead bird, it's kind of cringe. This monologue is good. She delivers it well. It's a little purple, you know, in the language industry, in the Squid Ink, Vampiroteuthis industry, we call badly written, overly romantic prose purple prose. A little bit of purple's not a bad thing, but if your whole, you know, piece of writing feels, tastes, smells, sounds, or etc. Of purple, it's probably a bit overdone. You need to do some editing. So at worst, this is a little bit overwritten, but the actors deliver it well, both of them. The DMT guy, you know what? He delivered his Joe Rogan speech very well, and she delivers her, you know, very archetypally feminine, in a good way, monologue. She's very committed to what she believes. She's comfortable with her emotional investment. You know, her logical side of her brain has agreed to this conception of the afterlife, and she's accomplished that synergy. To accomplish any synergy between the logical side of your brain and the emotional one is a feat. It is difficult. Most people can only pretend to do it. I'll never do it because I'm nuts. My two sides of my brain are totally different entities, and they have to get together in a room and hammer things out like a debate every time I make any decision. But for normal people, they don't even get to that point. You know, they're either totally emotional and their rational brain is just a horrified watching slave presence in their head, or they're totally logical and their emotional brain is a raped, killed, gelded, castrated type of violently rebellious slave that eventually kills them. And this poor fucker, he thinks he's praying to God. He's like, I need more. I need more adrenochrome. Where are you? Jeff Bezos, where are you? Don't tell me the last shipment was delayed. He's like, I'm sorry. The Haitians they're eating each other at this point. The adrenochrome virus, it really got to them. It's hard for us to get infants because none of the women are breeding. Sorry. You're going to have to make do. You'll have to make do with Planned Parenthood fetuses. I know you're competing with Queen Elizabeth, but she's dead. You know, it's really just her son who's you know, consuming the majority. But you know, surely you can call him. You have a good relationship with him, right? You have him on the line? Oh, you don't? Okay, just do the best you can. I'm gonna go back to Amazon. And again, there's a great symbolic thing going on here. And I'm not trying to disparage religious organizations because a lot of them do a lot of good for people who are alcoholics or addicts. This series is not trying to shit on that entire idea. It's trying to shit on the grifters who worm their way into those types of organizations in order to extract money, labor, whatever, from the people who are vulnerable. That's what the blood drinking thing is a metaphor for in real life. None of the vampire shit is actually real. The metaphor is there are certain grifters who will position themselves as religious leaders who will take advantage of these people. That's the obvious surface level metaphor. The much more fun Lovecraftian occult way of interpreting this is these people who become priests want to attract weaklings to them in order to extract psychic energy or literal blood from them. Because they're weak, they're stupid, they're cattle, they're goyim, they're easily exploited. This guy's so hungry, man. God damn. He's like, I want nothing more than a booze-filled, liver-rotted blood bag. This guy's blood would be like the lowest. This guy's blood would be like, I don't even know. What's the worst, whatever the worst, cheapest liquor is in your area, that's what this guy's blood would be like. Be like Seagram's vodka. Be like Old English. Like this guy's blood would be the worst shit. Bottom of the barrel shit. Fuck, man. This series gets dark, and when it's not dark, I'm dark. And then when it gets dark, I get comedic. That's how I roll. Gotta balance the scales somehow. He's like, bro, I'm not gay. Don't. And I love this scene because I think it was a legitimate accident. This guy's an alcoholic. His muscle mass is low. He's got frail bones. A knock on the head can kill you. That's realistic. That's plausible, at least. Maybe it's not realistic, it's plausible. And our priest guy did not kill him intentionally. But if he'd called an ambulance, maybe this guy could have been saved. We don't know. There's a lot of ambiguity here, and the ambiguity is what makes it creepy. If there was some obvious out, if there was some obvious choice this guy could have made to save this poor fucker, then it would be a cringe scene. And if he had tried to kill him intentionally, all our sympathy for the priest is gone. What little we had left is gone. But the implication is, oh, he's already dead. He's fucked. Ambiguity can be used to reprogram you to think evil things. When it's used well, its purpose is not to make you into a morally vacuous vessel or some kind of freak. In art, ambiguity, when it's used correctly, confronts you with situations that challenge your moral compass in order to strengthen it, not to weaken it. Anyone who responds to ambiguity by giving into some idea that their morality is bullshit and they should just believe in nothing, that person was already weak to begin with. They had a weak outlook or perspective on life, and they were looking for an excuse to be morally vacuous. Morally ambiguous content, horrifying stuff, gore, whatever, it is meant to test you to bolster your morality, not to encourage its decay. If you interpret that media as something that's encouraging your decay, that means part of you wanted to decay, and you really need to reevaluate your shit if you actually put stock in that illusion. The whole point of illusion in the first place is to function as a replacement for actual mistakes in thinking and behavior. It's to give you the chance to witness an illusion of the wrong or right thing, and to either follow the right illusion or avoid the wrong one. That's the whole point. That's what programming is. Going back to cave paintings, you don't have to speculate about 5G towers and mind waves. Look at cave paintings. Cave paintings are much more horrifying than 5G towers, if you're that type of schizo-brained person. A cave painting is far more creepy because of how old it is and how simple it is and how effective it is. Some tribal leader painted images or allowed his people or encouraged them to paint images of hunting so that they would hunt better. Because when they get back to the cave and they're not hunting, they're confronted with an image of what they were just doing. They were hunting. I want to hunt even more now. I've seen an image of what I just did. That motivates me even more to bring more meat back to the shaman who's eating children or whatever. The point is that images reinforce what they portray. And this series is trafficking in this because our main character, our priest guy, was hypnotized by a vampire who drank his blood. And what's he doing now? He's repeating the behavior. He's copying it. He's mimicking it. He's drinking blood. It gives him a tangible physical benefit. That's dramatic, obvious, visual shit. But it's also at its core a repeated behavior. He saw a behavior, he repeated it. A monkey saw another monkey crack open a nut with a rock. The younger monkey repeated it. Imitation is the highest form of flattery. Imitation is the highest form of worship. Anyway, guys, so here we are back at the church. After about 10 rants I went off on. Hope you enjoyed them. And our priest is late. Ooh. Sorry, guys. He was having an orgy in the blood tombs with Mick Jagger. Sometimes that takes him a bit of time to recover from that. And finally, his number one thrall, the chick who's already mentally scooped out. Her brain's been scooped out like you would scoop ice cream out of a tub. There's nothing in there but the faint taste of Freon and some hoarfrost on her skull. God, imagine seeing this scene. Her first reaction isn't to run screaming, it's to close the door. Her first reaction is to make sure no one else sees it. Can you imagine the psychopath brain in this woman? That was her first reaction. I will protect my power at any cost. My God. And this poor fucker, he's a victim. I'll say it. The dementia. Who knows how much of the dementia the adrenochrome cured? It's like old Joe, Sleepy Joe. You can only cure so much of the dementia with the adrenochrome. There's limits to chemistry. Chemistry is real. It's not magic. And this guy, in some sense, he still has dementia. He's still an old man. And he says to her, I don't know why. I mean, this guy basically is Joe Biden at this point. This show is fucked. This guy, this doddering old man in a walking corpse body drinking blood, and he's being controlled by a very Clinton-y looking woman. The Clintons are great people who've never done anything evil and have never killed anyone. I want to make that very clear. I love them. I worship them. They're excellent politicians and human beings. Their whole family is totally innocent and have never done anything wrong. I want to make that very clear. But this chick is kind of like a Clinton. She's got the full bodysuit. She's got, sort of that vibe. I don't know. I'm getting kind of the same vibe from this chick. But I'm an insane, high, drunk, crazy person, so don't pay any attention to what I'm saying. And she's lying like a politician, like a Clinton, which is an admirable trait. They're very good liars. I love them. I love lying. I love politicians. I love politicians. I love lying. It's the best thing. I mean, if you can't lie well, you can't live well. You know what I mean? They say you make your own bed, you lie in it. I mean, we all lie in our sleep. We sometimes sleep talk. We sometimes say things in our sleep we don't mean. Sometimes, we're just lying. We're just sleeping. That's all we're doing. We're dreaming. We're just dreaming our little dreams. Sleeping our little sleeps. My God, she's just commanding these guys like they're drones. It's like they're Fallout settlers. Like, I assign you to the defense post. Okay. And they're like, bitch, we're real people. Like, what's wrong with you? She picked the two Forrest Gumps of the community. She picked the dumbest people. But again, they've all got a little bit of an infection. The fungus, the parasite, whatever you want to call it, is already in their bloodstream. So they're all a little bit susceptible to whoever's commanding them. Whoever the king worm or the king mushroom or whatever the fuck it is. Whoever the master of language is. Whoever the god is. And she's using guilt and shame to control him, like I said in the last video. I know I went off on a fucking psychotic rant about that shit, but the reason I did is because this whole series traffics in it. This whole series is about controlling people with shame and guilt, like you've been controlled with it. If you've benefited, ignore what I'm saying. If your life is good, who cares? If your life sucks, you need to listen to this series because it's telling you you're not supposed to be controlled by guilt. It doesn't work for you. This shit is not... If this shit doesn't work on you, it's not supposed to. You're not damned for being, immune to it. You just have to find a purpose in your life that's higher than guilt or shame. It just means you have an IQ above 80. Like... That's all it really means, Don't be ashamed. Again, the shame is such an insidious fucking virus because if you don't fit into a society that's based on guilting and shaming, you think you're dumber than you are. And you treat yourself as if you're stupid and you undervalue your own ability. I feel like I'm trying to counter this chick's horse shit when I talk to you guys. Anyway, the point is just that. I mean... This woman is using these hick idiots because she has all the power on this shithole island. If I was playing Fallout and I landed on this island, I'd just stock up on mini nukes and just cleanse the whole place. You want to talk about religious cleansing, man? I'd enjoy just cleanse the whole place. It's just corrupt controllers and corrupt pawns. They're all fucked. They're all raped. They're done. They have nothing left to do. Again, very bleak, but this series is directly based on Lovecraft, and a lot of Lovecraft's work is very bleak. He talks about entire communities, entire towns that have been corrupted and consumed by whatever, whether it's genetic degeneracy or some kind of social thing or some kind of creepy psychic virus, whatever the malady is, thematically, it's always the whole town. It's always like, well, everyone's in danger from this thing, Very paranoid type of thing. And Lovecraft was a paranoid guy. He was a sick guy, mentally and physically. He was, mother in an insane asylum. These aren't people you want to base your life philosophy on, but they write some damn good fiction, I will give them that. Their fiction's really fucking good. So then this chick's gotten a second opinion. Good woman. She's like, well, this... And it's like... Now she's like, well, is the second opinion saying I'm still pregnant? And this chick's like, no. No, your hormones have been sucked out of you. Like you're... Like you've never been pregnant. Again, like the blood going from blood to water, the Immaculate Conception in this scene is reversed. Instead of, you're magically pregnant out of nowhere, now you're pregnant and have a child. It's, you had a child, now you're magically unpregnant. It's a reversal, an evil reversal of a miracle, an un-miracle, a UN miracle. It was the blue helmets, guys. We should have set up more Tesla coils around our compounds. Then the blue helmets wouldn't have been able to use satanic magic to literally unpregnate this woman through abortion. Again, despite all the kowtowing this series did, that's what it's saying. And I'm glad it is. Even if it's wrong, even if it's nonsense, at least there's an alternate viewpoint. At least it's not one monolithic viewpoint about abortion. But that's what this series is saying. I mean, this is subtle shit, and it's also not. It's very obvious. But when you look at recent events, guys, I mean, I can't really deny there's kind of some parallels going on here. Ooh. Creepily standing on his porch. So many moments in this series, I just want it to randomly degenerate into like a Tarantino camp fest with like vampires with shotguns and shit. It's like, it's okay, bro. Un-Mary just un-gave birth to un-Christ. That's fine. It's all by un-God's un-design. This selfish prick, man. This is all for a LARP that lasts for like 3 minutes of like literal like time in the context of the series without any skipping. It's literally 3 minutes, and he sacrifices a whole town for 3 minutes of bullshit. It's wild. When you realize that's the premise, you rewatch this, goddamn. Yeah, give yourselves over to what? Do you understand what you're giving yourselves over to? Do you have any knowledge of it other than what people have told you? Do you have any free will? Do you have a brain? Are you conscious? Are you a human? Do you live? Are you alive? Are you a walking corpse or are you a person? I mean, goddamn, man. There's got to be some distinctions made. Are you an AI? Or can you say the N-word on the internet? Woo! That's the real test. I've said it at least once by mistake, but I'm not going to say it now. Not after setting that up. Are you kidding? That'd be way too easy. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a great actor. Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of my favorite actors. When Arnold Schwarzenegger smokes cigars, it makes me want to smoke cigars. When he does something, I kind of want to do what he did. I kind of want to mimic him a little bit. I kind of want to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's a great guy. That has nothing to do with this show. Sorry, guys. I just went off on a random tangent. I just kind of felt like it. Yeah, you've got everything but the wisdom, man. You got all the words and all the magician's tricks, but you lack the wisdom. So you're fucked. You're already in hell. really bothers me that his long sleeve sweatshirt thing has like an uneven X under his neck. That is really bothering me. Why the fuck is the stitching uneven? My OCD is going fucking crazy, guys. I gotta play with Rubik's Cubes for 3 hours after seeing that. I gotta build 10 Lego sculptures after seeing that, guys. Man. Set design L. You should live like Swiss Family Robinson. You're gonna be living like Swiss Family Robinson after this if you're lucky. Fucking idiot. That's a good line. Not so much a place we lived, but a place we lived through. That's good, I'll give him that. That's a good line. Adrenochrome is the way. Yeah, something's happening all right. Thank God for skeptics, man. Skeptics are hated, berated, called Redditors, cucks, intellectuals, high-minded, high horse. Apply whatever label you want. Nerds, dorks. I don't care. Sometimes the skeptics are right, and when they're right and everyone else is wrong, shit's gotten bad. Because usually they're wrong. Usually they're wrong. When they're not wrong, it's time to get out. It's time to find a way out when the skeptics start being right. Because they're not usually right. And this guy's just being nice. He's like, you guys are fully cooked. You're fully hypnotized. I can't save you. I can't change your mind, so I'll just go along with it. Whatever. Whatever you want. You know, my life's over. I've been in prison. I'm done, you know. This is like Christ talking to the people he knows. He already knows they're damned. He's like, you guys are already going to hell. But I can't help but at least be like, hey, hope you don't have to be in hell for long. I hope you can minimize your time there, you know. Can't really do much. Other than that, you've made up your minds. What can I do, you know? Done everything I can. If I can't sway you any more than I've already tried, then, you know, all right. Good luck, you know. May your time in hell be brief. That's basically all I can say. I'm not saying our main character is supposed to be Christ in this, but the way he acts in that specific scene with his mother is, you know, ooh, it's the Hat Man. This guy's been doing too many shrooms. He's been injecting shrooms. Don't listen to him. If he tells you to be quiet, be loud. If he tells you to be loud, shut the fuck up. He's not a good person. A man in a dark costume with a hat is a bad individual. Again, great choice in this to use a common hallucination. And they keep him out of focus in this too. This guy immediately collapses into prayer. His brain is totally porridge at this point. And this clearly angelic figure is clearly going to do something very angelic here. And totally legitimate. Again, you know, maybe Catholicism is the only correct religion and this is all just a bunch of slander. That could be the case. If it is, it's damn good slander. I'll say that. This is some of the most artful religious criticism I've ever seen. I wouldn't be doing a review of it if it wasn't. It's very fucking good. I'll never be able to look at the Abrahamic monotheisms in the same way after seeing this. I'll say that much. Personally, I'll never be able to see them the same. There will always be a part of me that goes, ugh, they're kind of creepy after this, you know? This show does a very good job of incepting that type of interpretation into your mind, even if you don't interpret it literally like a schizophrenic idiot, if you interpret it according to the symbology from the actual religious texts, it's creepy even if you do that. If you're the most objective, scholarly, intellectual type of person, and you still go back to the symbolism, it's still creepy. It's still a bit fucked up. Even for ancient cultures, even for primitive people, it's kind of unprecedentedly creepy and weird. It's kind of fucked up, guys. That's all I have to say. And woo! You got jumped. Don't fight it. It's actually a holy act. And like his little female thrall, he shuts the door. The first thing he does is shut the door. Very good. Very good. Guys, I know this commentary has been a bit heated, but I want to assure you that I'm not heated. I'm quite cool. It's almost like I'm made of water. Water has a very high heat capacity, so basically what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way is no worries. And I do hope you're not taking this series too seriously. It's not. It's fake, but it's very well done. And it touches upon a lot of religious chords, a lot of heartstrings that it plucks, you might say, in anyone who was raised in any religion that resembles what's portrayed here, which is why I find it so interesting. It's not a trite, surface-level critique. It goes right down to the base symbolism of the religion, and that's very rare, that any piece of media does that in any way that's worth paying attention to. I mean, films like The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby, those are like the Saw movies of their day. They're not even in the same universe as something like this. This is doing something else. This is doing something quite precise. It's like a sniper rifle. It's very precise. That's why I love it so much. That's why I find it interesting to talk about. It's unique. I haven't seen anything else like this. So I hope you enjoyed my commentary. Credits are crawling to a close. So I'm going to say thank you again for watching. Hug a loved one. Keep your health in check. Drink some water. Take some vitamin D. And don't take things too seriously. Anyway, guys. Love you all. And as always, peace out.